Request you to stay on with me. Now, the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman hails the India-US interim trade deal, expressing commitment to bilateral ties. Taking to X, the Finance Minister's office wrote, the joint technology cooperation will position India as a hub for AI, data and digital services. Further, India has safeguarded the sensitivities of its agriculture and animal husbandry sectors. The framework protects key farm and dairy products, spices and staples, strengthening farmer incomes. I do have joining me Mr. Ravi Karkara, who is a founder and investor at the NYC Forum. He's joining me live from New York in the States. Mr. Karkara, I'd just like to begin. We've laid out some initial terms of the agreement to our viewers. I'd like to begin with your opening comments. Mr. Karkara, am I audible to you? All right. I want to now, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Karkara. I want to go across to Mithali Nikore. Mithali, I want to understand from you, how significant is the decision of the United States to lift national security and linked tariffs on Indian aircrafts and aircraft parts?
So I think firstly, I just want to react a little bit to what my previous co-panelist was saying. I completely agree that, India's relationship with the US is extremely important. And, we sort of have this situation where, we have to build together as economies and we have to move together as economies. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, we should not cast this as a relationship between India and Russia and then India and the US. We don't have to choose between these people. And that's exactly what India has done, throughout its history. That India has not been a partisan, economy. We've always gone with the non-aligned movement. So, at the end of the day, it is very critical to say that India will work with Russia, India will work with the US, and India will work with any other friendly country that wants to work with us. So it's not a 5 million versus 2 million versus 3 million. It's about making sure that we work with all countries around the world. And last year, what it's told us, it's told us that it's important to be friends with as many countries as possible. Now, having said that, on the aircraft part, this is an extremely significant development. So, in the history of the United States, there are very few countries that have received this status. Particularly, it has been extended only to the G7 and some of the NATO countries, not even all of the NATO countries. So, this is a very, very significant development, and it essentially means that we as civilizations, we as economies are coming together. And they want to not only extract from India, and they don't just want India to buy from the US, but they're willing to invest in India. And that is something that, of course, the Indian delegation would have negotiated and, would have secured that deal. So I think it's very, very critical. And from an economic standpoint, again, extremely critical, because if we think about it, our aircraft industry, our airlines industry, there is one area that was highlighted: MRO, maintenance, repair and operations. Now, until we get into the aircrafts and airline manufacturing value chain, it is impossible for our engineers in India to understand how to do this MRO. And this is the opportunity for India to enter into those supply chains, enter into those value chains, and start manufacturing for a global giant like Boeing. It is phenomenal. So the size of this opportunity is multi-generational. It can actually be the shift that we have been looking for to break into airline manufacturing and aircraft manufacturing eventually.
All right. I'll come back to you. Now, both sides have committed to providing each other preferential and sustained market access in sectors of interest. They will also establish rules of origin to ensure the benefits of the agreement mainly accrued to the two countries. The framework includes steps to address non-tariff barriers. India has agreed to ease long-standing restrictions affecting US medical devices, ICT goods and agricultural products, and to review the acceptance of US or international standards in certain sectors within 6 months of the agreement taking effect. I do have joining me Mr. Ravi Karkara, who's a founder and investor at the NYC Forum, and he's joining me live from New York in the US. Mr. Karkara, welcome, and I'd like to begin with your comments on what I've just read out to my viewers.
Absolutely. Again, good morning to everybody. I'm Pranam to Bharatji. I think it's finally, I think we can, as we said in the last time we were here together, we were looking at the fine prints. The fine prints are out. It's going to definitely, we'll see the result, coming through in the Indian market. It's a huge opportunity. I think, as the Honorable Minister has said, it opens up a $30 trillion opportunity for Indian, manufacturers, exporters, etc. But also, it's definitely, from my point of view, barring few things, I think it's definitely, going to be exciting for both economies. I think USA needed this as much as India. And I think given the scope of the FTAs that India is opening up, this could be a fantastic opportunity for investments to go in, for manufacturing to be boosted in all the different sectors that have been discussed. So extremely excited to finally see this come through. And, I think many of us who've been following this for over decades are finally seeing the finer prints. It's exciting. And as Mitali also pointed out with the aircraft industry, it is absolutely an opportunity. So the point really will be, I think there was a very interesting point yesterday from another dear colleague, Michael Walton, who said even if USA wants to do manufacturing right now, the number of folks really applying for manufacturing jobs, just a data point, there's a complete 30% reduction. So there's a huge deficit in terms of getting the right skilled workers and professionals to boost the US manufacturing. So although India has the opportunity, we have the youth bulge and the skill bulge in the north, but we definitely see a kind of a issue in US right now. So big opportunity for both side manufacturers, and including on the agriculture side, I think there are some finer points that have come through, but I would say that it will, especially on the nuts, I think we know in California, for example, it's been exporting, it's really taken on the nuts industry into a very, very high level. So that's a welcome point for us. Overall, I think I'm pretty excited. So thank you so much for having me here.
I'll come back to you. Now, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has released a statement on the India-US trade deal.